G'day, this is Martin from Martin's Computer Service. Today we're in my shop. The weekend we've closed up because I'm doing a custom job for myself. Computer build to replace an aging one. Although this is doesn't have all new parts. This is the only second-hand stuff here. A ASUS motherboard, middle of the range, all ATX style, has 8 gig on board. Also it's got an i7 875K CPU running at 2.93 gigahertz. Plenty of interface, and it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade from the one I'm running now, which is the original iCore quad-core Intel chip. We start with it's going to be installed in this Thermaltake case. It's only a standard case. It did have a 420 watt power supply in it, Thermaltake power supply, but we took that out. Now there's nothing in it. We've got a new power supply for it. The video card I'm installing requires at least 500 watts. But this is a bit of a budget build as well, so I've bought a Coolmaster 550 watt power supply, 80% plus efficiency, bronze rating. The hard drives we're using, it's a 500 gig Samsung SSD for Windows. I will install Windows 10 Pro on it. We have Western Digital Blue, 2 terabytes. Also just your standard run-of-the-mill DVD reader writer. The video card is Radeon 7370. It'll play most games. It won't play some of the newer games at high settings, but that's never been an issue. As a person who started with Wolfenstein 3D, I don't necessarily need the latest graphics, latest pictures. We have HDMI out, 2 DVIs out, and a picture board out. I think it's a picture board. Takes up 2 ports, this card. Also, we are putting in Wi-Fi card, although the motherboard does support 1000 megabyte per second or 1 gigabyte per second Ethernet. I'm going to put this Wi-Fi card in. PCI Express. It has AC and G. And N2, sorry. 2.4 gigahertz and a 5 gigahertz range. I'll probably connect at 5 gigahertz range. It's only close range, so it doesn't matter. So here we go, all the parts ready to go. I've just got to set my old video camera up so we can see it properly. Okay, stage 2, assembly. I usually start with the motherboard. Some cases will already have the power supply in. In this case, I'm leaving that out because it gives me more room to manoeuvre. Generally speaking, you have the first step is quite often to plug the power LEDs in. Some people will put the power motherboard in first and then connect them up. Personally, I find it a little bit easier in a lot of cases to plug these leads in first. You have the front USB, output for headphones and microphone, and your standard little leads power switch, hard drive LED and reset. So we bring over the motherboard. The writing's fairly small. Okay, first we're going to kick these leads up. I had to get my magnifying glasses because my eyes are not as good as they used to be and I can't always see the writing. I usually know close to where they're going to go, but not always exact. So your power LED, I'll put that in first because the wires just don't quite reach otherwise. So that goes there and the end. We get the reset switch, which goes here. The power switch goes on here. And the hard drive LED goes on here. Now, for your beep codes and so forth, we have your little speaker. It's a miniature speaker, much easier than some of the old ways of doing it. Should put that on first, but never mind. We're already here now, so we'll just persevere. So that's all done. Next, the front USB ports. There's two on this box. I may later put a internal card reader, but I don't need to at the moment. Put the sound, front connection for the headphones and microphone, if you need that. It's always a good idea to use it anyway, because sometimes motherboards won't work unless there's plugs, or the sound won't work unless there's plugs put on the board. Just put it on here. I'm not using this one. This one here is for Firewire. Not much call for that nowadays, but it's still there in case we need it in the future. This one here is, I can do later or now, doesn't really matter. It's case fan. Two plugs for case fans. There's actually three on this one. Power fan. One here. And this one here. I'll use... I don't know which one will we use. I might use this one here. This actually has a fourth lead plug in case you want to use one with a detector on it, speed detector, and speed controller, should I say. But you don't need to, just plug it in like that. And then you place the case in the box. This one already has locators built on the case, so I don't have to put any locators in, steps. Building computers doesn't always take that long. With my own stuff I take a little bit longer because I fiddle more. Can't always do that with customers' computers. Sometimes they want them in a hurry, which is not a problem. Sometimes it's handy to have your screwdriver slightly magnetised. Line the holes up. Put the screws in, simple. I don't always tighten the screws up for a start because sometimes you've got to relocate the a bit tight, these leads. It'll just move the board around a bit to locate some of the screw holes on the chassis. Okay, Okay, just pause you there because I was putting all the screws in. I think it's pretty boring just watching someone screw some screws in. We'll just check and make sure they're all tight. You can pretty much assemble the computer any way you feel comfortable with. And as I said, in most cases the power supply is already in. The basic cases. It's only when you build custom computers and you buy the cases. You can order the cases without power supplies and then put your own in. So, oh, we missed a screw. There we go, all in. Motherboard securely in place. Now I've got the big power supply to put in. The old camera shifted a bit. Or I shifted the box, one or the other. I was going to use my GoPro, but the sound's not always the best on the GoPro. The action part's good, but the sound's not always the best. Now, put you on pause for a minute there because the power supply, which is nice black colour, came with its own screws. Excuse the car noises outside. Right next to the main road here in Leiden. Building a computer to me is not just a matter of whacking a couple of components together. To build a good system, depending on your needs, needs a balance of parts, it needs a motherboard that suits the processor. I've seen some computer builders, well, most computer builders really, will build a gaming system, or so-called gaming system, but they'll have a cheap all-in-one motherboard and then just whack a high-end graphics card in, which is fine because they'll do the job. But if you want to build your own computers, do a bit of research and try to balance everything. So if you're buying, in this case, when this system was built, I actually put this system together, or I didn't build it, but I ordered it for a customer. The original i7 and the SUSE motherboard. And we got, based on his budget, lower end range i7, which is still performance, with a, so still the high range processors, performance processors, but the bottom end of the range, with the middle of the range motherboard rather than a cheap motherboard. If you're going to spend $1,000 on a CPU, you're better off to spend $400, $500, $600 on a motherboard. Otherwise, it's a bit like building a performance car, putting a performance motor in an old car. It's not always going to run the best. There's the power supply. We won't connect the leads up yet. We'll just keep it out of the way. I've got a little bit of a issue that this motherboard in the old computer ran Windows 10. Anyone in the know will know that the Windows 10, once it's been installed on one motherboard, one computer, can be reinstalled any time without a product key. Too many changes means it won't activate. So for now, we're just going to leave the 8 gig in and put the basic systems in, and hopefully there won't be too many changes and Windows 10 will activate. Otherwise I need a whole new license. Okay, just set the case up on its end because I think it's easier in this case to put the drives in their place. I haven't put the graphics card in yet because sometimes the graphics card is just, especially something of this size, it should be okay, but when you're trying to manoeuvre hard drives in and out, they can get in the way with the leads and so forth. So, here we go. Put a fan in if I need to. I shouldn't need to. This is one of these quick. Put in there, line the holes up. That can sometimes be a bit of a art form in itself, just lining the holes up. There we go. Place that in there and that locks into place. We will have to pull the other side of the case off, put some screws in that side, but for the moment brand new in the bag, anti-static bag. Should always wear an anti-static strip. I tend to be a little bit lax at times and not put one on, but for beginners definitely use it. What's going on here? There we go. Generally you can leave a big gap between the two, but in this case, no moving parts. The solid state drive runs a little bit cooler. And I like to keep a bit of space clear of these leads because I've got to put the SATA leads into here. This is the front of the case. Don't forget to take the protection off, dust protection. Looks a little bit better without it, I think. And then these parts have to come out. Here we go, pop the top part out. Now I did have some second-hand, excuse me, I did have some second-hand DVD drives, but I decided to put a new one in because they don't cost that much. Some parts are expensive, some parts aren't. DVD drives, DVD burners in particular, when they first came out, you're looking at $800 plus. Now you can get one for $35, $40 with software. It'll be cheaper without software. Using the quick release thing. We need to put it in the top holes. There we go, beautiful. Again, I've got to still pull screws in the other side just to make sure they're stable, don't fall apart on us. When you move it around, this one's got a carry handle. There we go, we've pulled the other side off. Let's put that down there. screws in the other side just to hold everything together. Oops, nothing there. Oh, and there goes the phone. Here we go. And some screws in the hard drive here, and the CD drive, DVD burner. Don't burn many DVDs nowadays. Thank gosh the floppy's gone, they were a pain. Food. Yep. Okay, we had to hunt down some slightly smaller screws because the other ones are just a little big. It's not much difference with the size of the screws, but just enough difference to make them a hassle if you haven't got the right size. Thankfully I've got lots of little bits and pieces that allow me to find the right size screws. Even one is better than none. Particularly in the main drive, because in the case of a metal case or aluminium case, by having them bolted into the side, it distributes the heat into the frame, allowing them to run a little bit cooler. On these cases too, when you're installing the SATA cables, we can do it from this side much easier than the other side. Here we go, this is where we plug our hard drives into. Not quite there yet. I like to have everything in place first, and then I can lay the cables out nice and neatly. But again, do it the way you feel comfortable with. There we go, back again. We will need to put the video card in. Before we put the video card in, you can move the cables out of the way. Just line it up so you know which one of these plates you pull out of the back here. In this case we have to remove two. It's not a bad size video card. Some of the high performance ones are even bigger again. Take up 2 ports, might stick out further at the back here. We're working with a full size ATX motherboard and ATX mid-size ATX case. You get bigger cases. Card wouldn't go in if it was I forgot to take this little retaining clip out the back. Some will have screws in there, some have retaining clips. It was never going to go in that way. That's another tip, never force anything. If you're thinking something's not going to go in and you're forcing it, then you're doing it wrong. Look for the reason of why you need to force it. There, go straight in now. Make sure it's all clicked into place, all lined up. And here it is at the back. It doesn't seem to be This should bring it back into place. Oh, here we go. Some of these cheaper cases don't always sit everything as nice and neatly as the better cases, but they do the job. Ah, I see why. There's a couple of little metal clips that are on the back. Don't work well with a dual port card, so we'll just temporarily put you on hold. I'll need to see them in there. I just need to squash them flat. We'll be in business again. There we go, fixed it. The issue we had was on the inside of the case. There's locators that sit both sides of a standard card, but because we've got a flat in the middle here, because it takes up two spaces, that was preventing it from sitting square. Sitting square means it locates better in the motherboard and also looks a bit neater. And we just got to clip it into place and it clicks when it's located. Not 100%, but good enough. There we go, better. Should pop into place then. And a little screw in place. Okay, the phone keeps ringing. That's fine. No issues. We're just making sure that's all right. It's in screwed in properly. We've got multiple ports at the back here. We've got a display port, which I don't use. HDMI, which I will use. 2 DVI ports for multiple monitors. This thing will run 3 monitors, I think, or even 4 monitors, I suspect. Not that I ever do. I usually just have one monitor. These are just dust covers. You can leave them on, take them off, it's up to yourself. I think if I've got them, I'll leave them on if I don't need them. Here at work, when I'm setting the computer up, I may have to use DVI to set it up. The monitor at home's got HDMI, but my monitors here have only got DVI, digital video. I've left the Wi-Fi card out for the moment because I want to be able to try and activate this unit with Windows 10. I'll leave the power ones off at the moment because I want to run these first. You've got different SATA ports there. A couple of them are 3 gig throughput and there's a 6 gig throughput. Where possible, I'll use a 6 gig throughput. Except for the DVI, the DVD player, which doesn't really matter. Got one nifty thing about this power supply. is, I shall untangle it and I'll show you. For us people who like to make our cases neat and tidy, bit of a mess there, isn't it? It's all flat ribbon. It's all flat. So once we've wired it all up, it'll be a lot easier. To hide away. It's a bit strange that they still put these ID cables on. It's very little ID stuff goes in the computers nowadays. But we've got plenty. We've got 3 SATA there. 3 SATA there. That's for your video card. That's for your old IDE hard drives, just in case. That's for your motherboard power. And there's even one for the old floppies, which I haven't installed on the computer for many years. And that's your main power lead. As you see though, I'm going to run my SATA cables first, then we'll fiddle with these.